Hey there, this is Lee from Play Guitar Academy. I help frustrated guitar players get back to getting better at the guitar. Today we're going to talk about the main reasons why beginner, intermediate, and advanced guitar players get stuck in a rut with the guitar. If you feel you're not moving forward on guitar and it's not going the way you would like it to go, there are several very common reasons why this is probably happening. Unfortunately, with the guitar, it's not always obvious what the problems are and what's holding you back. The number one problem I see in beginners, the person who has who's stuck in a rut the most, it's the self-teacher. It's the person who comes into this, I'm going to do this myself no matter what. We call it the a la carte method. We've talked about that a ton. I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to pick things that I like to do, and I'm going to do them, and that'll be good enough. It's fast, and it's free, and it looks like it's a lot of fun. And I'm sure it is in the beginning. I use YouTube all the time. The problem starts quickly after you go down that road. You find out it doesn't really work that way. There's a disconnect. You've got all this free instruction and you can copy a few things that you've seen, but you're still in the dark. And then at some point you work at it, and you get stopped in your tracks. And that's where the fun of guitar starts to diminish. Beginner that hits the wall early. All guitar players can hit the wall, but that early problem. It's new students. They've decided that they're going to learn a certain technique and they're going to put everything that they have into it, which is great. They mean well and they're dedicated to figuring this thing out. Problem is where you're starting, and days working on something can turn into weeks. And then weeks of working on something turn into months, and months can even go to years. Beating your head against the wall, trying to brute force this free instruction into your guitar playing. Usually this situation doesn't end well. A lot of people will quit guitar once they hit that wall a little too early. The first problem I find in intermediate players is the knowledge overwhelm. When you ask somebody if they can play something, can you do this? Can you do that? The answer is always yes. Yeah, I can do that. But I want to move on. I want to move on to modes, or I want to move on to advanced stuff in my lead playing. This is very similar to GAS, to gear acquisition syndrome. It's a routine of acquiring knowledge quickly, free content. It's like the Matrix, downloading. I want to download how to kung fu, trying to figure out how to do some really cool things with only a small look at it, with a small look at each skill. It's like collecting gear. You're collecting pieces of knowledge, but you're not making them your own. 90% of the songs that you learn, if you're going to use scales, if you're going to do guitar leads or any of those things, they use the big four scales, right? They use the major, the minor, major pentatonic, and minor pentatonic. If you ask an intermediate player, most of the time, I'm like, oh yeah, I know those. And they may know, usually it's two. Just because you know the major scales or the pentatonic scales doesn't mean that you can use them effectively. And as coming from a lead guitar player for modern music, they are your bread and butter. That's what you need to use these and get familiar with these and have them become part of you. It needs to be a continual part of your practice. You don't just leave the heart of your playing. Pay attention to it once and then put it on the shelf and then expect that you're going to progress. Everything we do here is building up a foundation so you can be a player, so you can be a musician, not a copier. There's another type of intermediate player that gets stuck in a rut. The player that avoids what actually helps. Think about that for a minute. Not only have I seen it in my own playing, I've seen it in tons of students. I've thought that. I've thought, are they really wanting to do this? Because they're avoiding something. They're avoiding those things that are going to get you there. It's a fear thing, So I wrote down some some things where that would apply to the guitar, and is jamming over the same chord progression, using the same pattern all the time. Is that really helping you? Are you prepared to do the things that may not be so much fun? Are you frustrated that you aren't getting better, but you play all the time? You know, it could be that you're avoiding the very things that will get you what you want. I've done it before. I think most of us have done it before. And why is that? It could be, if you really look at it, if you really go deep, it could be the fear of success. What would that mean? Where's this all going to lead if I get really good at guitar? And the one thing, the most feared thing in all of music is, I got to play in front of people, right? So your brain is doing a lot more than what's on the surface all the time. It's figuring things out ahead of time. It's very powerful, the subconscious. And it's the fear of success. Playing in front of people is very scary. It could be subliminal, you know? You may not really want to reach your goal, even though you want it, having some conflicting thoughts. The big one for an advanced player is they get set in their ways. You got along to a certain point and you had some success, and then you just coasted. You know, you just kept at it. You're just doing what you did. You put in the work ahead of time. Now you're just reaping the reward. You forgot what really improving feels like. You just want to stay in the good part, right? You want to stay where everything's fun, but not have to do what you did before, not have to do all the work. You're off the journey, right? You're not continually getting better anymore. Some advanced players, they lose the will to do it. They lose the will to experiment with their playing. They're just keeping on. They keep on trucking, and it's okay. And it's easy because you've done some things, and you're at a good place, and you're getting by with minimal effort. You're stuck in a rut, you know, and it's not the same rut as a beginner player plays, but you're limiting how far you could go. How much farther could you go, an advanced player, if you were practicing? If you weren't just coasting. Some advanced players think, well, I got it all figured out. You know, I know what this is. I know what music is. You know, it's this. And you put it into a little box right there. And that's music right there. I know music. I do music, and this is what I do. Music's bigger than that. Music's bigger than what you focused on. There's more to it than that. There's infinite amount of places that you can go with music. That's a rut, right? There's more. There's definitely more that you can do. And finding that joy that you had before. We always talk about how when you're starting, it doesn't feel like you're putting in this time, doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. And then somebody says, man, that sounds good. Boom. Right? I'm better now. Right? And then you play out and you get paid. Boom. There you go. You're up to the next level. That feeling of going over it, practicing, have a routine, sounding bad at something, and then working at it till it sounds good, and then getting some feedback from it. You know, that's the best to me. That's what it's all about. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you check out all the other videos in this series, and also like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the new stuff I have coming out. I've got a free gift for you. It's a free video blues lead guitar course. It's called Get Your Blues Solos Under Control. It's over at freeblueslesson.com. It's the 6 steps that will take your blues soloing from not knowing what you're doing to playing all over the neck and tearing it up. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.